Please do not forget to subscribe to my channel and click on all so you can be up to date with my channel. The second book of Samuel, chapter 4, verses 1 to 12. Chapter 5, verses 1 to 25:1. When Saul's son heard that Abner was dead in Hebron, his hands became feeble, and all the Israelites were troubled. Saul's son had two men who were captains of raiding bands. The name of one was Baanah, and the name of the other Rechab, the sons of Rimmon the Beerothite, of the children of Benjamin, for Beeroth also is considered a part of Benjamin. 3 and the Beerothites fled to Gittim, and have lived as foreigners there until today. 4. Now Jonathan, Saul's son, had a son who was lame in his feet. He was 5 years old when the news came about Saul and Jonathan out of Jezreel, and his nurse picked him up and fled. As she hurried to flee, he fell and became lame. His name was Mephibosheth. 5 the sons of Rimmon the Beerothite, Rechab and Baanah, went out and came at about the heat of the day to the house of Ishbosheth as he took his rest at noon. 6 they came there into the middle of the house as though they would have fetched wheat, and they struck him in the body. And Rechab and Baanah his brother escaped. 7 Now when they came into the house as he lay on his bed in his bedroom, they struck him, killed him, beheaded him, and took his head, and went by the way of the Arabah all night. 8 They brought the head of Ishbosheth to David, to Hebron, and said to the king, Behold, the head of Ishbosheth, the son of Saul, your enemy, who sought your life. The Lord has avenged my lord the king today of Saul, and of his offspring. 9 David answered, Rechab and Baanah, his brother, the sons of Rimmon the Beerothite, and said to them, As the Lord lives, who has redeemed my soul out of all adversity. 10 When someone told me, Behold, Saul is dead, thinking that he brought good news, I seized him and killed him in Ziklag, which was the reward I gave him for his news. 11 How much more, when wicked men have slain a righteous person in his own house on his bed? Should I not now require his blood from your hand, and rid the earth of you? 12 David commanded his young men, and they killed them, cut off their hands and their feet, and hanged them up beside the pool in Hebron. But they took the head of Ishbosheth and buried it in Abner's grave in Hebron. The second book of Samuel, chapter 5, verses 1 to 25:1. Then all the tribes of Israel came to David at Hebron and spoke, saying, Behold, we are your bone and your flesh. 2 in times past, when Saul was king over us, it was you who led Israel out and in. The Lord said to you, You will be shepherd of my people Israel, and you will be prince over Israel. 3 So all the elders of Israel came to the king to Hebron, and King David made a covenant with them in Hebron before the Lord, and they anointed David king over Israel. 4 David was 30 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 40 years. 5 In Hebron he reigned over Judah 7 years and 6 months, and in Jerusalem he reigned 33 years over all Israel and Judah. 6 The king and his men went to Jerusalem against the Jebusites, the inhabitants of the land, who spoke to David, saying, The blind and the lame will keep you out of here, thinking, David can't come in here. 7 Nevertheless David took the stronghold of Zion. This is David's city. 8 David said on that day, Whoever strikes the Jebusites, let him go up to the watercourse and strike those lame and blind, who are hated by David's soul. Therefore they say, The blind and the lame can't come into the house. 9 David lived in the stronghold, and called it David's city. David built around from Millo and inward. 10 David grew greater and greater, for the Lord, the God of armies, was with him. 11 Hiram king of Tyre sent messengers to David with cedar trees, carpenters, and masons, and they built David a house. 12 David perceived that the Lord had established him king over Israel, and that he had exalted his kingdom for his people Israel's sake. 13 David took more concubines and wives for himself out of Jerusalem, after he had come from Hebron, and more sons and daughters were born to David. 14. These are the names of those who were born to him in Jerusalem: Shanuah, Shabab, Nathan, Solomon, 15 Ibhar, Elishua, Nepheg, Japhia, 16 Elishama, Eliada, and Eliphile. 17. When the Philistines heard that they had anointed David king over Israel, all the Philistines went up to seek David. But David heard about it and went down to the stronghold. 18. Now the Philistines had come and spread themselves in the valley of Rephaim. 19. David inquired of the Lord, saying, Shall I go up against the Philistines? Will you deliver them into my hand? The Lord said to David, Go up, for I will certainly deliver the Philistines into your hand. 20. David came to Baal-perazim, and David struck them there. Then he said, The Lord has broken my enemies before me, like the breach of waters. Therefore he called the name of that place Baal-perazim. 21. They left their images there, and David and his men took them away. 22. The Philistines came up yet again, and spread themselves in the valley of Rephaim. 23. When David inquired of the Lord, he said, You shall not go up. Circle around behind them, and attack them in front of the mulberry trees. 24. When you hear the sound of marching in the tops of the mulberry trees, then stir yourself up, for then the Lord has gone out before you to strike the army of the Philistines. 25. David did so, as the Lord commanded him, and struck the Philistines all the way from Geba to Gezer. Thank you so much for joining me watching and learning about the second book of Samuel, chapter 4 verses 1 to 12 and chapter 5 verses 1 to 25. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already for more great up and coming pet facts, Bible study, music, and bedtime stories. Good night and sweet dreams until next time.